In 1221 CE, the city of Nishapur stood as one of Persia's greatest jewels, a center of learning, trade, and culture. But one act of defiance would seal its fate. When Genghis Khan's son-in-law was killed by its defenders, the great Khan unleashed a vengeance so absolute that even the stones were said to weep. And in that storm of fury, 1,000 cats became instruments of conquest. In 1219, Genghis Khan launched his campaign against the Khwarezmian Empire, ruled by Shah al-Din Muhammad II. The Shah had betrayed him, murdering Mongol envoys and merchants in the city of Otrar. For Genghis, this was no mere insult. It was a declaration of war. The Mongol armies poured across Central Asia, disciplined, swift, and merciless. City after city fell: Bukhara, Samarkand, Urgench, each leaving behind smoldering ruins and terrified survivors. By 1220, the Mongol tide had reached the region of Khorasan, where Nishapur stood proudly, unaware it was next. Commanding the Mongol right wing was Toli, Genghis Khan's youngest son, and his son-in-law, Tokuchar, a fierce general known for his loyalty and pride. When the Mongols reached Nishapur, they demanded the city's surrender, as was custom. But the defenders, led by Governor Tahir, refused, killing Tokuchar during the siege. News of Tokuchar's death reached Genghis Khan. The great Khan was said to have fallen into silent rage. He ordered Toli to return and to erase Nishapur from existence. In the spring of 1221, Toli's army surrounded Nishapur. Over 150,000 Mongol horsemen, engineers, and siege masters. The Mongols were not merely warriors, they were strategists, masters of psychological warfare. They built siege ramps and mangonels, cutting off all supplies. For days, volleys of arrows and stones rained upon the walls. Inside, panic spread. The defenders fought bravely, but food and morale dwindled. Then, Toli ordered an unexpected tactic, one that combined terror and ingenuity. He demanded cats and birds from the captured villages nearby. When hundreds were gathered, the Mongol engineers tied tufts of burning cloth soaked in sulfur and oil to their tails. The goal was simple, yet devastating. Release them and let them return home. At dusk, the Mongols lit the flames. 1,000 terrified cats and birds scattered toward the city, their fur ablaze, their cries echoing into the night. Instinct drove them back into the familiar alleys and rooftops of Nishapur. Moments later, the city ignited. Roofs caught fire, stores of grain exploded, and smoke filled the sky. The defenders, trapped between flame and fury, broke ranks. That night, the walls of Nishapur, once the pride of Persia, glowed red under a Mongol moon. When dawn broke, Toli gave the signal. The gates, weakened by fire, collapsed. Mongol troops poured through. What followed was among the most brutal massacres of the 13th century. According to Persian chroniclers, over 1.7 million people were slain, though modern historians estimate closer to 200,000 to 300,000. No one was spared: men, women, children, scholars, poets. Even the libraries of Nishapur were burned, their ashes mingling with the dust of the dead. When the city was taken, Toli gathered the survivors. Some accounts say he ordered every living soul executed in revenge for his brother-in-law. Even the animals were killed to silence the city forever. For 7 days, Nishapur burned. The Mongols piled the skulls of the dead into pyramids, a warning to all who resisted. When Genghis Khan heard of Toli's victory, he said only, "My wrath is satisfied." The land that had once been a beacon of Persian culture was reduced to ash. The Siege of Nishapur remains one of the most devastating examples of total war in medieval history. The tale of the Cats of Fire was preserved in Persian chronicles like those of Juvaini and Rashid al-Din, not as myth, but as a testament to Mongol psychological warfare. It reveals Genghis Khan's genius and his ruthlessness. He understood that fear was a weapon as powerful as the bow. In the ashes of Nishapur, a new world was born, forged by conquest, ruled by terror, and remembered through legend. The fire that consumed the city was not just from 1,000 burning cats. It was the fire of empire, devouring everything in its path. Genghis Khan's message was clear. Defy the Khan, and the world will remember your ruin.